This past weekend, I went on a retreat with my synagogue, and I was really inspired. I wrote this poem. It's called Time Unkept. Time unkept keeps us whole. On the site of this old rodeo, we paused from wrestling how the world may go. We freed ourselves from the tyranny of timekeeping, immersed ourselves in wonder, defining our own meaning, and in it, found the connection we all have been seeking. Perhaps this space shall bring, with its calm, the strength for us all to free what needs freeing, just as we freed our souls with art, dance, and singing, back in time where porch swings keep the rhythm that life brings, as distant prayers echo through each heart, birthing meaning, infinite as each being. A community of souls embody what God is seeing as we brought visions of peace into being, attempting to capture holy moments so fleeting. We each attempted to define the divine, hoping for answers amid holy day, dreaming, finding wisdom woven into song, multiple choice, complete acceptance, beyond right or wrong, falling into the arms of love. So, I have a fancy schmancy title, but I'm human, and this poem is not meant to make light of what I'm talking about. It's just meant to show you my humanity. It's called the carpool of vulnerability. I am driving down life's winding road, trying to move forward. Oh, it's a funny poem, so please laugh. I am clad in imposter syndrome's shiny, colorful, oversized superhero costume that everyone says looks oh so fabulous on me. But I'm still trying to grow into it, as it never seems to adequately cover those problem areas. Major general anxiety sits in the back seat, barking strict, often conflicting orders at me, competing noisily with the GPS for my attention, with his 4 young nephews, social, phone, avoidance, and insomnia. While his brother Depression sits in the front and keeps trying to grab the wheel. I do my best to ignore them, turning up the radio, singing as loudly and passionately as I can, grateful that their best friend Anger often stays home, now that Expression and I have become so close. And that perfectionism, who used to run the carpool, had his driver's license revoked years ago. As anxiety distracts me from the next song, Depression briefly succeeds in his quest. He wants to hook me up with his dear friend Apathy, who works for the Committee on the Preservation of the Status Quo, even though he's clearly not at all my type. Since I joined the party of there must be something better, Depression would rather that I go have drinks at Apathy's place. But he only manages to wrangle control long enough to steer me directly into a runaway train of thought. A nighttime collision with a shipment of identity crises. Themselves refugees from the latest round of panic attacks, who still come to visit every few years bearing white elephant gifts, even though we've changed lots and learned how to sneak quickly through a war zone avoiding injury. I emerge victorious from the encounter. Take a deep breath, get back up, adjust the now dust-laden sequins on my costume, and start driving again. But so did they. These hitchhiking, unwanted stowaways, riding on the backs of my dreams, attempting daily sabotage. But I will reach that rainbow, and let its brilliant hues wash over me. Pot of gold or no, I have some place to go. Yeah. So I think it's an artist's responsibility to talk about what's happening in the world. The rest of my set will be talking about it, and this is why I think poetry matters. Poetry, that ineffable waterfall of words, thoughts dripping from minds to pages, from daydreams to stages. So quickly, its profits are often condemned as unprofitable. So what value is there to poetry if monetization is not the metric of measure that defines a sacred treasure? It, like most art, can reach directly into hearts. It can repair them, it can break them, it can change them. It can shatter the divisions between people, reaching across boundaries, sprouting shared experience, educating others about each other. It can give voice to the voiceless, comfort the hurting, uplift the despondent, and accompany the lonely. It is a cornerstone of other art forms, transforming itself into song lyrics, treasured quotes of wisdom, spoken word and comedy performance, film and commercial narration, and bite-sized bits of prayer and meditation. It can make you cry tears of catharsis. It can make you laugh until you cry. It can change your life with an idea, and it can change the world if we only try. Listen. Listen. Do you hear that? Our mother, she is calling. She weeps with a broken heart. She begs for her children to treat her with love, for her children to act out of gratitude. Their existence relies upon her. But only some of her children choose love. They take her messages to heart. They shout them from the rooftops. Others still heartlessly plunder her house, her patience, her time, her heart, leaving it barren. Her tears flood our streets. She bathes in a tsunami of sorrow. She exhales in hurricanes that cry out, "Wake up! Listen to your Mother Earth. She is calling. Do not let her cries go unheard. Hear her so that we may turn, that she may turn, that we might all be welcome in her home, in the only home that we've ever known. These excesses that we chase in the name of fame and fortune will soon come to swallow us if we do not turn towards a life of simplicity, a life of sustainability that respects all other life. The solutions are right in front of us. We hold within us the vision. All we must do is act." So if you spend your time on Facebook, you'll end up in an argument. This is called Are We Free? Take me walking in the fields where the tanks no longer roar. Let me stroll along the sands of the sunny seashore. Take me where the cannons rusted shut and there just ain't wars, where the soldiers are retired from their duties of the peace and the weapons that they're building no longer increase. Silence the sirens of these murderous nights, where no one bends because they've got to be right. I'm a dove and not a fighter, and that is the only side, but when I see any injustice, my anger I can't hide. It only fuels the fire that is burning me alive. We are only truly free when everyone can thrive. You lob at me your insults fed from the television. Do you think for yourself with the brain that you were given? My faith teaches me about peace, justice, and love, how to give and how to live like the angels up above. But sometimes I wonder if we're reading the same book, if when you see a different face, you give a dirty look. This one appears in the book that's over there for sale. It's called Greed's Disconnect. They'll judge you for your possessions that you purchased before the recession. They'll have no sympathy for your depression, but you cannot afford a therapy session. They'll start wars over resources while wasting more over the course of it. They'll cut funding for living artists while paying millions for ancient artwork. They'll cut housing subsidies as they live in mansions with unused rooms. They'll expect you to live on fast food while refusing to pay them well too. They'll cut food stamps as they dine on single meals costing thousands. They'll cut public education while sending their kids to expensive schools. They'll blame the poor for not saving as they waste millions in frivolity. They'll tell you to do it yourself while they don't even drive, cook, or clean. They'll tell you to get a low-wage job while they laze about in luxury. They'll cut public transit funding as they ride around in limousines. They'll only donate to foundations as Lynn, Y, and the gutter and starvation. They won't fund universal health care, but God forbid you ever cut theirs. They call themselves the job creators while only giving themselves raises. They hate paying their taxes. They wouldn't last a day in a lower bracket.
Yeah.
So the headlines can get depressing. And you often can find yourself wondering, where are the heroes? This poem's called Where Are the Heroes? We are the lawyers showing up to airports. We are the regular people showing up to our first protest. We are the people giving our first donations to the ACLU. We are the people who ran for delegations for the first time. We are the journalists who are continuing to write the truth. We are the celebrities who are risking our fandom by speaking out. We are the artists who refuse to play the inauguration. We are the taxi drivers who went on strike. We are the students who walked out of school in protest. We are the teachers training the next generations. We are the people who walked out of jobs in protest. We are the government employees refusing immoral orders. We are the musicians crying out in protest songs. We are the poets bearing witness, sparking hope. We are those who continue to treat humanity with dignity. We are those who choose morality over harsh legality. And we are more visible now than at any other time. We are choosing to be the heroes that we seek. We are millions, and this darkness we shall defeat. We shall resist, we shall persist, and stop this madness. I was born in about 1983, so the Cold War was still going on, and there were still threats of bombs. And it seems like it's all coming back around again. This one's called Radioactive Returns. The relics of fallout shelters lying dormant in high school halls, relegated to preservation in peculiar propaganda PSAs, rusty yellow warning signs, and flashback 50s films. As time transformed, teachers taught tornado drills. Cover your head and head for the hills. Thoughts of nuclear annihilation were meant to stay in dusty volumes of Cold War-inspired thrillers and historical tales from previous wartime killings, how horrifying the consequences. Yet countries during seasons of fashionable tyranny lust openly for this destruction, as if mutually assured devastation were somehow easier than negotiation, forgetting the lessons of previous generations, too costly in education. Could the nukes just fade into the past like purple copier ink and decaying educational film strips, wormholes slowly eating the images like a buffet of memories, fading out with the tangles and tangles of out-of-sync cassette soundtracks as if they too outlived their usefulness? Technology declared passé by a newly evolved humanity aiming for a better world, or merely still having one? This is a poem full of lies that I wish were true. It's called Plowshares. I awoke this beautiful morning to witness an amazing sight. The nations have laid down their arms, their peoples will no longer fight. The evil dictator tyrants died of heart attacks, mysteriously, overnight. The swords have been beaten into plowshares, the guns are museum pieces now, the nukes have been dismantled, and the tanks have rusted down. Estranged lovers and parents with children long since left now embrace their differences and hold tight to each other's breast. On this day, no innocents died. The children are all healthy. On this day, no mothers cried. With peace, we are all wealthy. The doctors now have magic pills. Cancer and AIDS are no more. Starvation and homelessness, a thing of the past. We each have more than we need. Religions now work together in peace, each praising God in their own way. Differences are accepted and celebrated, and not a single mouth preaches hate. No politicians are bought off, and they all improve the world. No tornadoes strike the plains, no tsunamis wreck the shores. The earth no longer quakes, and the sunset and sunrise paint love in the sky as rainbows adorn the lakes. Thank you very much for having me. This is my last poem.
Thank you.
It's called Affirmations of a Dream. I still believe that humanity is inherently loving. That love is what governs the soul. That the soul is the compass pointing towards the heart. That heart beats steady towards a dream. That dream will be realized by our unity. that these actions of unity will bring forth a time of peace, for we simply cannot continue the paths of greed that only breed suffering and turmoil, wars for gold and oil. We must cease to robotically pursue these ancient visions of division, set by long dead eyes, left blinded by hatred, planted in minds soured by frustration. Yet the clown emperor, he is naked, behind old flags still waving, old beliefs oft left unshaken. For here we stand, pledging allegiance to a nation built on idealistic foundations left cracked by the weight of hypocrisy. A nation built on the backs of the invisible, whose voices were long silenced, and who now cry out with wisdom against the tyranny of a flawed system. No, we can no longer ignore that for which we have waited, that for which we are fated. On this day we must awaken, for history is ours for the making. But we must rise to take it, for the hour is growing later, and the clocks are meant to move forward. And freedom? Freedom is not easily forgotten once tasted. We are the majority. We are the ones who care. We haven't the time for despair. With every passing second, we must affirm our hope. In hardship or opportunity, from the country to the city, our unity must build up community. Empowered by kindness, leaping in, faith or faithless, we shall all fight until all are free. Moving through tragedy, all together, you and me, until that dream is reached. An eternal guarantee that every earthly soul is assured a life of dignity simply by its existence.
Here, here.